Hey Adventurers, so today is going to be a book tag. This is going to be the end of the year book tag. I wasn't specifically tagged in this by anybody, and I'm not really going to tag anybody in it. There's 6 questions at least on from the video that I stole the questions from. So we will see how I do. I'm going to go through them pretty fast. I don't really have great answers for most of them. I kind of needed a Thursday video, and this is what came up. So, question 1, are there any books you started this year and need to finish? And the answer is yes, I have started. There's 3 that I've actually started physically reading, and I would like to finish all 3 of those before the end of the year. The first is Phased, which I have behind me. I'm not sure which side you can see that from. Phased by Victoria Tekken. This is Tori Tekken on BookTube. Great booktuber, and I'm excited to be reading her book, even though I'm not sure what I'm going to think of it when I get to the end, but I'm still excited to read it. The next one is Rackety Tam. This is one of the books in the Redwall series, and I started physically reading it, and I haven't finished it yet. Basically, my physical reading time has plummeted to 0, and so I'm not making very much progress. And then the last one is Tales from the Perilous Realm by J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh, I forgot to mention Rackety Tam is one of the books in the Redwall series written by Brian Jakes. Anyways, so the next one is Tales from the Perilous Realm by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a collection of short stories. I've talked about it several times now. It was meant to be finished about 4 months ago, and I haven't finished it yet. Again, due to not having time to physically read, and that's not really okay, but at the same time, it is what it is. But I do really want to get all 3 of these finished before the end of the year. So the next question, do you have any autumnal books to transition to the end of the year? And the answer is no. I could say maybe something like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, except that that's not for one, it's not a book. It's a short story written in verse. It's poetry, an epic poem. But it's also not autumnal. It's winter. It's Christmas. So that one doesn't count anyways, and I don't really read that every year as it is. The only option that I kind of have is The Hobbit, and that's specifically transitioning into the new year. This is usually not necessarily the last book I read in the year, but it is one of the books that I plan to read every December, and then start the year in January with The Lord of the Rings. Question 3, is there a new release that you are still waiting for? And no, not really. I don't really pay attention to new releases a whole lot, but I am excited. There's one that I'm specifically excited for, and that is The Advent of Winter. This is an anthology of short stories compiled by Dom from Dominish Books, and he's also got a short story in there himself, as well as Victoria Tekken, as well as a whole bunch of other authors that I have really appreciated their writing and talking to them, as well as many that I haven't read yet. So I'm excited for that one, even though I also probably won't be reading that because I'll be getting the electronic file for each of the stories one a day in December. That's what I'm trying to say, from the 1st to the 24th, because it's basically acting as like a advent calendar for short stories, which is a really cool idea. But I backed the Kickstarter and so that I could get it and so I could support these authors, but I won't get the physical book, which is when I'll read it, until probably February or March, which means I don't know when I will get to read this book. I may try and read the short stories as they come in, or may try and read as many of them as I can in December, but I don't know because I don't really read on my phone very much. Anyway, so that's the only new release that I'm waiting for, that I know of, that I'm waiting for. Question 4, 3 books you want to read by the end of the year. I'm gonna go with Beowulf because I've needed to read Beowulf for 3 years. Basically since I started the channel and started talking to people, and they're like, yeah, you need to be reading Beowulf. So Beowulf is one that I need to read. Tribe of the Accord, which is by Sean Michael Stone, I believe. And this is one that was sent to me. It's self-published, sent to me by the author, and I do want to get to it. I've just had so little time to physically read that I cannot get to the books that I want to, and this is one that I do want to get to. If I can get to it before the end of the year, that would be awesome. And then the last one is Taliesin, and this is the first book in the Pendragon cycle by Stephen R. Lawhead. This is one that I've been meaning to read since January, I think, and well, probably before January, but since I've been putting it on my MVR, and so I need to get to it. If I don't get to it in December, I'm going to really try and get to it in January, or in that first quarter of the new year. Question 5, are there any books that could shock you and be your favorite book of the year? Of course, any book that I read, I'm not going to read it if I think I'm not going to like it. Will they become my favorite of the year? I don't know. Probably not. And I like the way that this is termed, because is it one that could shock you and become your favorite book of the year. That's any book. Any book could shock me and become my favorite books of the year. The specific ones that I would be shocked though if they became my favorite of the year are The Tribe of the Accord, Taliesin, and Phased. I think I'll enjoy all of them. I don't think any of them will shock me and become my favorite of the year. Let me rephrase that. I don't think any of them are going to be my favorite of the year, and so if they become my favorite of the year, it will be a shock. I could easily see myself loving any of the others that I've already mentioned though to that degree, meaning to it becoming my favorite of the year. I don't know yet. So question 6, have you started making reading plans for next year yet? And the answer again is no. Other than my annual reread of Lord of the Rings, no. Next year is going to be very different for me. I'm going to, I already know some things that are going to happen in next year that are going to change my life drastically, and especially my reading time and probably my time for creating YouTube content. So I have no idea how this is going to work, but I probably won't get much reading done in 2024, and as such I'm not going to make any plans for 2024 other than my annual reread of Lord of the Rings in December, and then The Hobbit my annual reread of Lord of the Rings in January, and then starting in January, and then my annual reread of The Hobbit in December. That's all that I've got planned. Yeah, I don't know. I was planning to make at one point I was planning to make 2024 a year of Lewis, meaning I would read a whole bunch of C.S. Lewis, other than basically whatever I could get my hands on other than Narnia, that I haven't read. And so I may still try and do that. I want to at least try and get through the Space Trilogy if I can, but quite honestly, I have forgotten that was the plan until just sitting down to film this video right now. So we will see if that happens. I'm not going to make plans for it at the moment though. So anyways, that is the end of the year book tag for 2023. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and our social media is linked in the description down below. We'll see you guys again soon. Stay warm.